I love cars, I love watches, and I love watches that are inspired by cars. Today we're taking a look at a chronograph that is automotive inspired. It's from a French brand called bi-compax. I featured watches of theirs here on my channel in the past. This is a chronograph powered by an ST19, so it's an affordable chronograph with lots of little details that make this affordable chronograph really stand out. So let's take a look at bi-compax and their affordable automotive chronograph. Bi-compax always make watches that look significantly more expensive than they actually are. And today we have a perfect example of that. This is their affordable chronograph. It's powered by an ST19, which you can see from the back. The ST19 is a seagull movement. It's based on a vintage Venus movement. It looks great unless you get really close up. It looks really good otherwise. And usually watches that feature this movement have a display case back because it's pretty good looking. This is a very good looking automotive inspired watch. You have a white and blue dial. So you have two sub dials. One is in silver, one is in blue. They are both just a step down from the rest of the dial. You have applied indices. There's some sections to the dial as well. There is that outer ring, which is in a silvery white. And then you have an inner portion that is sort of a circle that is around the entire dial that separates from the center of the dial, which is a disc. So there's a line that separates those two portions of the blue portion of the dial. You have applied indices, those are filled with lume, and then there is their logo at the 12 o'clock. That is also filled with lume. The hands are stick hands, those are filled with lume, and then you have a very 70s racing inspired second hand for the chronograph. That is in orange. It looks fantastic against that blue background, very legible, and that actually matches the stitching in the blue strap, which is a perforated strap with a quick release buckle on it. So you have a double push button buckle on here to go along with the entire aesthetic. You also have a sapphire crystal, which is boxed, and it is slightly raised off of that polished bezel. The crown, also automotive inspired. It is signed with their shield logo, and then it is shaped like a lug nut, sort of. There's orange accents in the crown as well. You have the pushers, which are just pump pushers, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. So hitting that top chronograph button, and then you reset with the bottom, so you could restart with the top. That's it. I mean, the ST19 works like most other chronographs. It's just an affordable movement. This gets really nice finishing as well. You have brushing on the sides. You have a very nice line of polish on the top of the case. On the side of the case, it gives you a little plaque that's screwed into the side of the actual case. I'm not a huge fan of this, but it kind of blends in a little bit. It doesn't really stand out, and it is pretty much flush with the case, so it's not that noticeable. You do get a screwed in case back, and the case back is really nice. They always do a really good job. There are 6 screws that are holding in the case back, and you could see that movement through the sapphire crystal in the back. And then the strap. The strap is awesome on here. It's really thick, it's perforated, and you have that orange stitching. And on the back side of the strap, it's like in an Alcantara almost. So very sporty, and it will sit on your wrist really well. Always what they do is they put the French flag right there that's stitched into the side of the strap. So they put it somewhere, sometimes multiple places on the watch, which I think is really cool. So it's a little bit of a nice touch. This is about a 38 millimeter watch. It's over 38 millimeters, probably around 38.4 millimeters. I've measured it a few times. It depends on where you actually grab it on the case. This is around a 13.3 millimeter thick watch as well, which is really not that bad considering it's a bi-compax chronograph. It is hand wound, so that does help out. You do have that box sapphire crystal, which sits above the bezel, so that does add to the thickness. And then you have about a 46 millimeter lug to lug. It's actually under 46 millimeters, around 45.7, somewhere in that neighborhood. The crown is 6.5 millimeters. On my wrist today, I have the Vulcain Grand Prix, not a racing watch, a dress watch, Grand Prix refers to an award that it won during a World's Fair back in the 1930s, I believe. So technically not a race watch. Obviously, it doesn't look like a car racing watch, but it is called the Grand Prix. And there is the de Pencel on my 7.5-inch wrist. Like I was saying, this is just over 38 millimeters, and the lug to lug is around 46 millimeters. You have around 13 millimeter thickness. That's including that box sapphire crystal. On my 7.5-inch wrist, I think it looks really good. A lot more expensive than it actually is. This watch comes in at $650. That's kind of on the more expensive side for watches featuring an ST19. However, there are so many details that go into this watch. I think that's a very good price. Just the dial alone, the intricate dial that they put on here. And they've actually come out with a Swiss automatic version of this watch that is also a chronograph, and I think they're charging around $3,000 for that watch. So this is a bargain when compared. And they actually did a collaboration with Worn & Wound. That watch was pretty awesome as well. So they've been doing some pretty cool things, and I just think this is a really good looking watch, a really cool watch, and it looks a lot more expensive than $650. For an automotive inspired watch that is a chronograph, this has very good lume, very liberally applied to the hands and indices. It's pretty bright. I'm actually pretty impressed. You also have that logo at the 12 o'clock. That is lumed, gives you orientation in the dark as well. No lume on the second hand. I wish there was a little bit of lume. I always like to say that. But other than that, I think this looks great. Overall, I am impressed with this watch. $650 I think is a good price. And like I said, the quality here, the attention to detail is high, and I think they did a really good job with this watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. What do you think of this brand? What do you think of this watch? They've been doing a lot of cool things lately, collaborations and other chronographs that are automatics and stuff like that. So they've been doing some pretty cool stuff. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to their website down in the description, so if you are interested, definitely check them out. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.